Hello, I'm going to give you a reading from the beginning of my pilgrimage on El Camino de Santiago. It's September 13, 2012, Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France. It's official. I'm a bona fide pilgrim with the papers to prove it. After a pleasant train ride with only a few stops through the entire way, I arrived mid-afternoon in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, Jean being the French variation of James, at the foot of the pass. To prepare for my first day walking, I go straight to the passport office and pick up my credencial, or pilgrim's passport, as well as the traditional scallop shell, the pilgrim's calling card. Afterward, I secure a room at the Saint Jean albergue, which I was able to get at a discount because of my passport. I've been trying to get a handle on the plethora of names for the accommodations offered to pilgrims in this part of the world. The translation and origins for some of them, such as hosteles and refugios, is obvious, whereas pension is less clear. I expect over the coming days and weeks that the subtle and not too subtle distinctions will become more apparent. There are a great many auberges and albergues, not to be confused with alberge, which is French for peach, from the Spanish albergino, a special kind of peach. When seeking refuge on the Camino, it appears one letter can make the difference between winding up at a fruit stand instead of a hostel. The history of El Camino de Santiago de Compostela is as fascinating as it is troubling. The first pilgrimage to Santiago was taken in the 9th century, but the idea of pilgrimage goes back much further. The word pilgrimage derives from the Latin peregrinus, meaning foreigner, one from abroad, and Camino can really only be understood within the broader context of evolving Christian, Roman, Jewish, and Muslim relations. The first recorded Christian pilgrimages to Jerusalem, the Holy Land, were taken in the 4th century and were connected with the ministry of Jesus. The wave of persecutions at the hands of Romans had subsided, and the Crusades had not yet begun. By the time the Church of Santiago was built, the word pilgrimage had long been synonymous with the Crusades. Crusade is from Latin crux to French croix, marked by the cross of Christ. Pilgrims had become his soldiers. The legend of St. James evolved out of these early beginnings. St. James the Great, there is a James the Lesser as well, was one of Jesus' apostles who traveled to Spain to spread the word after Christ's resurrection. Upon his return to Jerusalem in 44 AD, he was beheaded by King Herod, as the story goes, who was not at all pleased by the saint's religious pursuits. His martyred body was transported back to Spain, where it was buried and forgotten, until the 9th century, when a hermit named Pelo had a vision. In the vision, he saw a bright star encircled by a cluster of small stars, which led him to a field with a burial site that would later be determined as the authentic grave site of St. James, hence Compos Stellae, or Field of Stars, although the jury is still out on whether Compostela refers instead to the saint's burial mound. The remains of what was deemed to be St. James's body were brought to Santiago, where a tomb was built for him, and that's where I hope to be in 37 days from now, give or take a day or 3. Spirit willing, the stars will guide me also.